What's up, friends? I'm U.S. Army veteran ThatChrisChaos, and let's talk Army. So I've done a show like this before where I've talked about different news stories going on in the Army, and I didn't feel too comfortable with doing it because I feel like I'm trying to be like a newscaster, and I'm not a news type of person. But, sometimes you want to know about things going on in the Army, and there's not really other channels that really do it very often as far as providing people out there with news from the Army, I guess. So my version, I guess, is going to be a little bit more relaxed. I'm going to hang out here with you, tell you about some of the top news stuff that I've found interesting going on in the Army, and then if you want to read all about it, then I'll leave some links down in the description down below. So we'll jump right into it, and let's talk about these two soldiers that did really awesome, I guess, at this Marine Sniper School. So you got this headline here that snipers take top honors at Marine Scout Sniper Course. Apparently this is a pretty elite kind of sniper school type of thing that the Marines do. The Army has their own type of sniper school, and I guess both of these Army guys here on the left and right have both qualified at the Army sniper school. But they, I guess, wanted to test themselves, and they wanted to try their luck at the Marine one. And the article makes it sound like it's a pretty good deal. It talks about right here that the Marine Sniper Course is known for having high washout rates, so anytime a soldier outperforms a Marine in the respected course, it's worth mentioning in the spirit of inter-service rivalry. And there is pretty much a rivalry with Marines and Army and anybody really. I mean, as a soldier in the Army, I didn't really care about other branches that much. I mean, sure, you have a little bit of fun with them, but really not that big of a deal. But it always seems like most of the Marines I talk to, they're really, gung-ho about the Marines. So I would imagine to a Marine, either active or a veteran, seeing something like this probably gets them a little upset. I don't know. I know if I read something about a Marine doing great at some Army school, I really wouldn't care, but I'm sure there's probably some Marines out there that do care that an Army soldier did really well at a Marine school. So both of these soldiers are from the 82nd Airborne, and then we have the Marine here in the middle. And I guess Sergeant Scallion here on the left actually qualified with High Shooter. And that is the award for qualifying, I guess, the highest overall. So I thought that was pretty cool that these two soldiers went through this Marine course, probably getting a bunch of crap when they went through the course, most likely, and ended up coming out pretty darn good. So if you want to read more about the article, just check out the link down in the description. Next, we're going to talk about one of the Army's very new type of units, and that is called SFAB. SFAB was actually created just, I think, October of last year. So it's a very new unit. I'll probably do an in-depth video the best that I can so at some point on my channel to give you a little bit more insight about what this unit does. But SFAB stands for Security Forces Assistance Brigade. And the best way to look at it is they are just kind of there to help other foreign national units kind of be better at their jobs and kind of, teach some of the Army tactics and different things like that. In the past, we've had just regular soldiers doing that, maybe 11 Bravos, maybe, SF soldiers or whatever, but that takes away from their normal job, so they created this unit so they can just dedicate this unit to being the ones that help these other coalition forces to better do, type of combat tactics and teach them, things like that the Army uses. Now, previously, they only had one duty location, which was on Fort Benning, and that unit is called the 1st Security Forces Assistance Brigade, but the Army here in this article is announcing that they are doing 3 more brigades. Also with this new unit, they have their own little patch, this guy here with a little advisor tab and their little patch right there. So some people are kind of mad that it's a tabbed type of unit, as well as they have their own beret. They have a brown beret, and a lot of people complained that this is very similar to a green beret and can be mistaken for that. So there's actually 2 active ones. There's 1st Brigade and 2nd Brigade. 1st Brigade being out of Fort Benning, Georgia, and 2nd Brigade being out of Fort Bragg. Now, I'm not really sure which 3 are the actual new ones. I've actually been looking at the list, and I see there's 4, but I'm guessing maybe one was a previously announced one. I actually didn't read the full article. I really just take cliff notes out of stuff. I'm not a big fan of reading stuff. But they do have 3rd Brigade, which is going to be out of Fort Hood, Texas. They have 4th Brigade that's going to be out of Fort Carson, Colorado. 5th Brigade, which will be out of Joint Lewis McChord, Washington. And then 6th Brigade, which will actually be a National Guard unit, and it's rumored that it'll be out of Florida. That's what they're planning on, but I did happen to notice in the article they said they weren't sure where the National Guard one was going to be out of, so that may not be an official thing that they're going to be out of Florida. So this really just opens up more opportunities for people to be a part of the SFAB if they want to be a part of that type of unit. Some people are criticizing it. I've seen in some comments of other things where people feel that, isn't this a special forces job or such and such. But I don't think this isn't something Special Forces should be doing. They should be doing, their own elite stuff, and this unit can simply just focus on trying to help our allies out and teach them some of our tactics that we want to, educate them with, I guess. Now, SFAB does do a few other things. Those are just kind of the key takeaway I usually take away from it, is that they're really just there to kind of train our allies. When I do an in-depth video on SFAB, I'll kind of explain a little bit more of what they do, but there is some other roles that they have other than training some of our allies. Next, let's briefly talk about how the Army wants to kind of make assignments a little bit longer than they currently are. Right now, usually soldiers on average will be at a duty station maybe for like 2 years or something. Some cases longer, it just really depends, but on average I've seen a lot of soldiers who will only be at one location for maybe 2 years and then they come up on orders for somewhere else. But with that kind of being a common thing of 2 years, the Army wants to extend that to like more than 3. And the reason for that is they want to have the ability for spouses to be able to have a good job and kind of, keep a job rather than employers knowing that, hey, this is a military spouse and they're potentially going to be leaving in about 2 years because their husband or their wife is going to come up on orders. So the Army is trying to make it to where, they'll get a chance to maybe stay at a location a little bit longer to get better jobs. So another article on military.com is kind of talking about that, about how the Army is kind of implementing some ways that they want to do that so that spouses have more opportunities to get a good job and not be overlooked because the employer realizes that this person may not be sticking around for very long. I know, like when I was in the Army, I spent 2 years in Kansas, and then I came up on orders for Korea, and then Korea was normally a 1-year tour, but I did an additional year there, so I did 2 years in Korea. And then I went to Colorado, and after being in Colorado for about 2 years, I was potentially going to come up on orders to probably go back to Korea or somewhere else, but I re-enlisted so I could stay in Colorado. And there's several other people that I know that are like that, where maybe they went and did 2 years in Alaska and then came up on orders for somewhere else for another 2 years. So if the Army extends it to where it makes it maybe more than 3 years potentially, unless you re-enlist to go somewhere or try to put in for somewhere else, then it gives an opportunity for, I think, spouses to kind of maintain a job a little bit better. So last story we're going to talk about is we got Memorial Day weekend coming up. So Memorial Day is an American holiday. It's not really like a day of celebration, more of a day of remembrance. It's a day that we remember those fallen armed service members that, lost their lives due to a conflict or whatever. But along with that, it's also technically Military Appreciation Month. So there's some different places that are offering like discounts for active duty and veterans. Most of these discounts are taking place during Memorial Day weekend, so I figured I'd help out any fellow veterans or active duty members that maybe want to at least take advantage of some of these discounts while they're trying to enjoy their 4-day weekend in however the way they want to remember our fallen service members. So I'll give a full link down in the description as well for this article so you can see some of the discounts, but just to give you a little bit of a brief kind of description, I mean, you've got things in here like if you happen to be in Cincinnati, you got the Cincinnati Zoo. Dell is giving 10% off between now and June 15th on computers. You got things like Hooters giving a free entree, but only on May 28th. And you got like Sleep Number Bed from May 10th to June 3rd, giving $100 off on purchase. So that's just an example of some of the ones that are listed here on military.com. Like I said, I'll leave a link down below if you want to check out some of the other ones. But yeah, there you go. This is just kind of a brief, kind of a quick rundown of some highlights of some news type of things that are happening in the Army. Again, not super scripted, not really kind of newsy. Just me sitting here talking to the camera to tell you guys about some things happening in the Army. So if you want to learn more about like these articles, I'll leave the links down in the description. You can read the full articles and get the full scoop about the news. So if you like this video and you want to see more of these kind of like informal, me hanging out, telling you the news type of videos, make sure to hit that thumbs up button. If you want to talk about any of the stories, you can leave some comments down below, or if you're an angry Marine that's mad that a couple of Army soldiers came in and did awesome at your sniper school, then go ahead and leave those comments down below as well. If you want to check out some of my other videos, just go and check out these guys right over there. If you're not subscribed to the channel and you want to see more content like this one and me explaining different things about the Army, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I'm ChristopherChaos. Thanks for hanging out and watching this episode. I will see you next time. See ya.